Hi, I'm Jamie Machek with the Wisconsin Valley Library Service, and thank you for joining me on this digital bite on internal customer service, positive work culture. So the first couple digital bites focused on customer service. You might recall that I did a series of 3 trainings, and that was working with our customers or our patrons of the library. Now we're going to take a look at what we call internal customer service or organizational service. How should we be treating one another, our coworkers, our colleagues, the people who work beside us? And for this bite, we're going to focus on positive work culture. So let's jump right in. So let's ask ourselves, what is work culture? Essentially, it is the personality of our workplace, the personality of our libraries. What makes your library unique? What makes the people who work there unique? What does your library value as an organization? And when we think of work culture, of course, most of us want to work in a place that's positive. I don't think I've ever run into anybody who was like, yeah, I want to work at a really negative place where my colleagues aren't nice to me and there's a lot of negativity. No. We want to work in a positive work culture. It typically leads to better behavior. It leads to better productivity. It leads to happier people, both inside and outside of work. So let's go through a few simple tips that can lead to this environment right away. So what we want to do is treat everybody kindly. And I put a picture of a baby on the screen because when I think of babies, I think of, beings that tend to like most people. Most of the time babies, if they're happy and feeling okay and they're fed and not in a soiled diaper, they're pretty happy, and they like people, and they like it when people hold them, and they smile at most people. And that's something that we should aim for as we are working amongst our coworkers. We want to treat everybody with kindness. We don't have to like everybody that we work with. We don't have to be best friends with everybody we work with. And I'm not even suggesting we should do that all the time, that we should have all of our best friends at work. Well, that's certainly okay. So we don't have to like everybody, but we do need to treat them with respect, and we do need to treat people with kindness. What I try to do, or what I used to do when I worked more in an office setting, was say hi or say good morning to my coworkers within the first 30 minutes of me being at work. Say hello, say good morning. And if you can, do the same thing when you leave work. Now, if you work in a larger library, I don't expect you to go to every single person, especially if you're in a large library or on multiple floors. But, would it be that hard? Say you're going to the restroom or you're going to the workroom to make a copy. Would it be that hard or difficult to take a few steps in another direction once in a while to say good morning to somebody else who you don't walk past on a normal basis? And use people's names. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Tom. Have a great evening, Stephen. There's a lot of power in using somebody's name. We talked about that with our patrons too. And it's no different than when we're working with our coworkers. So say hi, say that hi and that bye. When somebody does do something nice for you, or maybe they cover a shift for you or help you out with a program, say thank you. Take it a step further, send a thank you email. You can even take that a step further and send a thank you note. Leave a thank you note on their desk or in their mailbox. We've kind of gotten away from the art of handwritten notes. Our world is so digital and electronic that handwritten notes are a lost art in a way, but they are so appreciated and they mean so much. Think of how good you feel when you get a handwritten card for your birthday or a card for a holiday, or someone just sends you a card because you're having a hard time in life. And it's so simple and it goes such a long way. So thank people. Also compliment them when they do something well. Again, we are only as strong, our library is only as strong as our weakest link. We want everybody to be strong. So even if you are really good at customer service and internal customer service, you have a job too. You have a role to compliment people and bring people up and set an example for other people who could use some work at this. So this is one of my biggest pet peeves. Gossip does not belong in the workplace at all. You can get put on probation for it. You can get terminated from a position for gossiping. It has happened. I have seen it. There is a difference between venting and gossiping. Venting is okay. Venting is normal. We all get frustrated. We get frustrated with our boss. We get frustrated with our coworkers. We get frustrated with patrons. Venting is okay. It's okay to vent, but we should not be gossiping about other people. It really just has no place. It doesn't do any good. There's never a benefit to it. We also should not be gossiping about other coworkers in front of patrons. So not only should we not be doing it with our coworkers, but not with patrons too. And it doesn't matter if the patron is a good friend of yours. We just want to avoid doing that. There's no place for it. So Festival Foods is a grocery store in Wisconsin. Some of you might have gone. We have several here in Green Bay. And they have what's called a 10-tile rule. And the idea is that they acknowledge someone within 10 feet of them. And I would encourage you to do this as well, not only with your patrons, but with your coworkers. So if someone is crossing the room, if someone is going down a hallway, if you see somebody within that 10 feet, say hello. How are you doing? So, it's not meant that you're shouting across the library, but acknowledge those people that are close by enough, where, again, you're giving them that acknowledgement. You might not like the person, but you're saying, hey, I see you, I recognize you, I'm saying hello to you. We also don't know what is going on in people's lives. We all are dealing with things at work, in our personal lives, etc., all the time. And we want to avoid judgment. If there's somebody in our workplace who we've noticed, maybe has been out a little bit, or they're coming in late on certain mornings, that's really not our place to worry about that. I'm guessing that is something that person and their supervisor is working out, and it's not our place to judge either. So let Judge Judy be the person who judges people. Let's try to avoid judgment as much as we can. We don't know all the time what someone else is going through, and we don't know unless we walk in their shoes. So I know it might feel like we live at work sometimes, especially during those really long and stressful weeks, but we don't live at work. And so while we might not be as neat at home, or dare I say, a slob in our homes, we want to strive to not be one in the workspace. Excuse me. I'm thinking of those common workspaces, maybe our staff lounge where we make copies, the kitchen. Maybe you have a shared workspace with several people. So we need to keep things as neat and tidy as we can. You have to make a point to do that and be respectful of other people. At the same time, you might be a neat freak and expect everything to be perfect and tidy all the time. You might be someone who nags at your kids or nags at your spouse, or I shouldn't say nag, that's a negative word, who talks to your kids a lot about picking up, or talks to your spouse, or talks to whoever might be living with you. And you have to remember that your coworkers don't live in your house. It's one thing to tell people what to do in your home. It's another thing to do it at work. So if you like things done a certain way, or if you like the lights left off or the lights left on, and someone is doing what you don't like, but it's really not hurting anything, you have to try to let that go. Again, you don't live at work, so you can't treat the workspace as you would like you would your home. This is a definite. Your colleagues are going to annoy you at some point. Maybe they will annoy you all the time. There might just be someone who you just don't click with for whatever reason. And that's okay. Again, we have to go back to, you have to treat that person with kindness. You have to treat that person with respect. And you might be thinking, well, they don't give me respect or treat me kindly. I don't care. Do it anyway. Be the better person. Set a better example. So if I find myself around a colleague or someone, maybe clashing a little bit with someone I don't always agree with or hit it off with, I try to ask myself three things. Is what this person is doing dangerous? Is what they're doing illegal or unethical? Or is it affecting my work? If it's not, I have learned to do my very best, again, to let it go. Reserve the judgment for someone else and let those things go. So again, there might be that person that you clash with for whatever reason. Maybe you just have different personalities. Maybe you do things differently. I challenge you to ask yourself about this person. Okay, what is something good about Amy? What is something good about Bob? Well, I really like it when Bob does this, or this is a great quality about Amy. So when you're having those negative thoughts or you're having an encounter, try to remember that good thing about this person. And I know we can find something good in everybody. So I hope you found these tips helpful on creating a more positive work culture. They're very simple, and they might just be things that you need a reminder of, or they are something you are already doing. And again, I challenge you, if these are things you're doing on a daily basis, kudos to you. That is awesome. And you need to keep doing them because you need to set an example for the people you work with who should be doing more of these things. So again, I hope you enjoyed this digital bite. If you ever have ideas for a training that we can do for you, please let me know. You can email me, you can call me, write me a letter if you'd like. I always like letters. So again, thank you for watching and have a great rest of your week. So long.